This love story is not over yet. But if you ignore this message, you might lose the second chance that fate is offering you. There's something sacred about how your name resonates in their silence. You may not see it, but heaven has been watching intently. This isn't finished. Not because they still think of you, but because the divine never completed what it began between the two of you. The angels are whispering now. This connection was destined long before time touched your skin. You were placed in their path as a key to something they forgot existed, their own heart. They resisted it, didn't they? That feeling of familiarity that made them uncomfortable, as if they had known you in 1,000 lifetimes yet were afraid to know you in this one. But the truth, the one your soul already senses, is that your presence wasn't random. You awakened something sacred in them, something too divine to be approached with logic. Their love didn't end. It got buried under fear. And you were sent as a mirror, not to fix them, but to remind them who they were before the world told them who to be. Now heaven stirs once more. There is a brief, divine, rare window opening between the two of you. And if you feel the trembling in your chest as you read this, it's because your spirit remembers what your mind tries to forget. This was never ordinary. This was soul work. This was covenant. This was sent. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. Even when they try to move on, something about you lingers with them, not just in memory but in energy. It's the way your absence creates a void no one else can fill. They smile for others, but their soul still aches for you. The angels say this love didn't fade, it paused, and they are being pulled back, not by nostalgia, but by divine unrest, a knowing that what was shared still lives somewhere between the heart and the unseen. You touched them without trying. You loved them without needing to. And that's what broke them open. You see, they never expected to feel safe in someone's gaze. But you saw past their armor. You saw the mess and didn't flinch. Now they carry your name like a whisper they can't silence. They search for your reflection in strangers. They hear your voice in the quietest rooms. This isn't fantasy. This is resonance. The kind that doesn't fade with time, only deepens. You were not just someone they loved. You were the place they felt found. And now, in the soft chaos of their thoughts, your light still flickers, asking them without words, what if love like that was never meant to end? The angels lean in, and so does their heart. They've said nothing, maybe for days, maybe for months, but their silence isn't absence. It's fear dressed in stillness. The angels reveal, this person talks to you in dreams, in songs, in the spaces between their breath. Just because they're quiet doesn't mean they're not burning. You may think they forgot you, but the truth, they remember everything. The tone of your laugh, the softness in your eyes when you looked at them like they were more than their pain. They're not ignoring you. They're avoiding what you make them feel, because no one ever held their truth so gently, and that terrified them. They built walls to survive, not knowing you'd come with light strong enough to see through stone. Now, every time they try to close the door, your memory knocks louder, not to haunt them, but to call them home. And they wonder, did you feel it too? That tremble in the soul when two stories collide mid-sentence. Because nothing about you was casual. You were a sacred interruption, a divine pause in a life lived in numbness. They may not speak it yet, but their silence is full of your name. And the angels are stirring the winds to carry it back to you. There's a war inside them, between what they feel and what they fear. And the angels show it clearly now. They didn't run from you. They ran from the part of themselves that finally felt seen. You didn't demand love. You invited it, with the way you simply existed, with your honesty, with your quiet strength. And that shattered every shield they built to protect a heart long convinced it was unworthy. They were taught to hide their wounds. You somehow loved them through the cracks. Now they wake in the middle of the night, not because of dreams, but because of reminders. Your voice in their chest, your absence like a question with no answer. They try to live logically, but the soul is louder, and you, dear soul, left fingerprints on places within them no one had ever reached. That's what scares them. Because what do you do with a love you never thought you'd deserve? You see, they were never prepared to be chosen, especially not by someone who saw everything and still stayed. Now the angels are whispering in their ear. It's time to stop hiding from the healing. They won't win this fight against love, because love, real love, doesn't argue. It waits, it returns, and it transforms. They don't even recognize themselves lately, not fully. Something inside is shifting, and the angels say, it's because your love stirred what was asleep for too long. They used to feel in control. Now, everything that once made sense doesn't. The routine, the silence, the people they once trusted, none of it fits anymore. You triggered a remembering, a part of them that used to believe in depth, in destiny, in a connection that defies logic, is waking up because of you. You didn't preach, you didn't push, you were. And that was enough to make their soul ache for more. The angels are guiding their heart now. Every coincidence, every dream, every time they hear your name, it's divine intervention in disguise. They're not quite sure how to express it, but they feel it rising like light beneath their skin. I wasn't supposed to forget her. I was supposed to fight for her. This is the beginning of their return, not because they have everything figured out, but because the emptiness without you is too loud to ignore. Let it be known, this love never died. It just went underground, waiting for the day their spirit would have the courage to bring it back to the surface. That day is close. Declare I receive, if your soul felt the angels move through these words. There are things they've never said, not to you, not to anyone, but the angels hear what the heart tries to hide. They never told you how your presence made them question everything, how you made them want to become better, softer, real. They never said how many times they almost reached out and stopped, not because they didn't want you, but because they thought they didn't deserve you. There's a quiet guilt they carry, for not choosing you when it mattered, for hesitating when all you did was love. But what you must understand is this: they didn't reject you. They rejected the mirror you held up, the one that showed them who they could be, if they had been brave. You didn't fail them. You awakened them. And now the weight of what they lost by pulling away is sinking in. They scroll past your name, pause, breathe, whisper your memory like a prayer they're not ready to say aloud. The angels are working in the spaces in between text and no reply, between longing and fear, and they say, you are closer to their heart than you've ever imagined, even in silence. Some truths are too sacred to speak, but not too sacred to feel. They loved you the best way they knew how, which sometimes didn't look like love at all. And the angels reveal they saw something divine in you and feared they'd ruin it. You were light. They were still learning not to flinch at brightness. They thought love meant losing themselves, but you never asked for that. All you ever wanted was honesty, presence, a heart willing to meet yours halfway. Still they froze. because to love you right, they'd have to undo years of conditioning, tear down walls built by heartbreaks that weren't yours to heal. The closer you got, the more they trembled. Not because you hurt them, but because they finally saw what safety looked like, and it terrified them. Now the angels are gently shaking the ground beneath them, waking them up, because fear has kept them small. But your love, it opened a window to something they never thought they'd be worthy of. And in the quiet moments, when no one's watching, they practice your name on their lips, trying to remember how it felt to be brave enough to say it. They're not there yet, but they want to be. And the angels, they're holding space for that becoming. You don't see it yet, but the road is shifting beneath you, and the angels are moving things, quietly, purposefully, to bring this connection back into alignment. They show me doors opening where walls once stood, conversations rehearsed in silence finally finding voice, longings once buried rising like dawn behind closed hearts. You've waited, not passively, but with a soul that never stopped believing that something greater was being written in the background. The angels whisper, it was never about the timing being wrong, it was about the heart being ready. They are preparing a return that comes not with fanfare, but with truth. Because what's coming back to you isn't a replica of what left. It's fuller, wiser, stripped of fear. You may not recognize them at first, not because they've changed, but because they finally allowed themselves to become who they were meant to be beside you. Don't rush to understand it all. Some things are only revealed through stillness. Trust what your spirit knows. This path isn't random, it's sacred. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed. Deuteronomy 31:8. No mask can survive this kind of love. Because when two souls have touched in truth, when they've seen each other raw, trembling, real, there's no going back to pretending. The angels say, this person longs to be seen by you again, not as perfect, but as willing. They're tired of the performance, tired of appearing strong while quietly unraveling. They want to be held, not for what they can offer, but for who they are beneath the armor. You made that safe. Even when they couldn't give you certainty, you gave them sanctuary. And now they find themselves yearning to show up, not with grand gestures, but with presence. A quiet kind of courage is blooming in them. The kind that says, I don't have all the answers, but I don't want to lose you again. And though they've spent lifetimes building walls, they're now tracing the cracks, wondering if love might enter through the very places they once tried to seal. The angels are close now, and they speak not with thunder, but with softness. Let the tears come, let the fear tremble. This is holy ground, because vulnerability is where soul meets soul. And both remember who they were before the world told them to hide. It is God who arms me with strength and keeps my way secure. Psalm 18:32. No miracle is louder than acceptance. And the angels kneel beside you now, because they know this chapter is sacred. You've loved without answers. You've hoped in silence. You've held space where others would have closed doors. And now, a shift. Not just in them, in you. Because this journey wasn't only about their return. It was about your return to yourself. The angels whisper, let go of the version of love that needed fixing, chasing, proving. Allow yourself to receive what meets you with peace. What's coming is not meant to complete you. You were never incomplete. It's to mirror the light you remembered to carry, even when it flickered in the dark. They are returning, yes, but not as a savior, as a soul ready to meet you halfway, where love walks barefoot and hearts speak without barriers. You no longer need to shrink, wait, or ache. The angels say, "Stand in your wholeness and let love rise to meet you." It may not resemble the dream. It may look like truth instead. And that is the miracle. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31.